What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Hope you're all doing well, and we are going to be taking a look today at the Guilty Gear Strive set. By the time I'm recording this, it should be coming out within like a week or two by the time I post this. So we are going to be getting several things for Guilty Gear. This is going to be coming out on the 15th. Obviously, we're getting the booster set and a trial deck, which I do plan to pick up the trial deck if nothing else, even without having seen any of the cards in it just yet. But we are also getting a supply set, which obviously for anyone who knows about the supply sets, you should have like a little deck box, sleeves, a pack or two, and some promos in it. So that should be very interesting to see how much like some of the promos are going to be going for afterwards. But I know a bunch of people who are very interested in this set, and shout outs to Ben from Refresh Point. I know he is overtly happy for this set to come out. But let's just hop right into it. Okay, so the only thing I need to preface this with is because it's not out just yet, not every single card has been revealed. And I'm going to sloop my little avatar right over here real quick. Just because it's going to be easier with the setup for this one. So I can show off the cards and then still not be taking up any of the space for like the SPs and whatnot. Not every single card has been revealed just yet. That's the only stipulation for this recording to this video today. But we're going to try to highlight a majority of the cards that we know of. And there's been several other YouTube channels, other content creators who actually got sponsored by Bushiroad to be able to show off like a bunch of the cards early, reveals and stuff like that. So definitely go check out any of those that you see if you just search on YouTube or whatever. All right, I think if you even go through the English Weiss Twitter, I think they made Twitter posts for every single one of those as well. But I haven't looked at any of those because I wanted to wait until more cards were out so that I could kind of judge them and check them out myself. So I did browse over this a little bit on Weiss Tea Time just to see how many we had, and a majority of the cards are up here. We are still missing quite a few, but I do want to see what all is out so far. All right, so let's get right into this. Obviously, I'm going to go over every single double rare that they have, and I think they posted most of them already. But I will be trying to at least glance through the booster set and the trial deck today, and just kind of glance over anything that isn't double rare, just to kind of try to speed through this as quickly as possible. But I still give you my impressions of it so far. Which I did see this one. Obviously, was reading this while I was getting everything set up. So the first one is yellow is a 104K Nagoriyuki. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize greatly. But we do have, so it's a 4K. If all of your characters are Guilty Gear, which they all should be, this card gets plus 2K power. So it's just constantly a 106K. I'm glad to actually see something that's good offensively and defensively for once. Just typically it's oh, this has, gains a shit ton of power, but is super weak typically. But anyway. Climax combo is when this card attacks if Clash of Immortals, which is a choice trigger, is in your climax area, and all of your characters are Guilty Gear, which I'm going to assume 99% of them are. You can choose a Guilty Gear character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. So just on attack, salvage, kind of nice. Not something overtly broken in the game, it's just something that I just like to see. All right, so let's get going to Totsugeki over here. 3/2 10K, May Cheerful Pirate. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you may put the top card of your clock into your waiting room. It says, when this attacks, if Jellyfish Pirates, which is a choice trigger, is in your climax area, you may pay the cost, which it looks like it's a hefty cost, but it's already going to introduce us to one of the core mechanics I think is going to be in the for a lot of effects, which is pay 2 stock, discard 1 card from your hand, and put 1 Guilty Gear character from your memory into your waiting room. And if you do, choose one of your characters and that character gets 1,000 power and the following ability till end of turn. Up to 1 time per turn. When damage dealt by this card is cancelled, you may deal 2 damage to your opponent 2 times. Really cool. It's just obviously having to pay that much cost on attack is a little bit aggravating, but it's whatever. But obviously the cancel burn of 2 twice is very nice, kind of reminiscent of what was it? Kind of very similar, not exactly, but in terms of the cancel burn portion of it is very similar to Laplace from Hololive. Just like I said, it's just kind of in the ballpark. The big thing for here is to note the cost effect of the put a Guilty Gear character from your memory into your waiting room. From what I did see glancing over some of the cards, that is a recurring cost in terms of characters getting put into your memory and then getting used as a cost getting sent back to the waiting room. So being able to utilize different ones and just having basically you're doing compression by putting stuff into the memory and then taking that out afterwards, which is just very interesting. Also, very nice overframe rare. I don't know if I stated it even for Nagori here, but even like the SP looks really awesome. The overframe rare looks really fucking cool. But let's continue. We got another May. Okay, so now that was the double rares. This is a rare Brainstormer. Okay, so it's your typical pay 1, rest it, mill 4 for each search a Guilty Gear. Whenever you reveal a basically if a trigger check is a climax, give a character a 1k. Very nice. So this is where I'm going to kind of blitz through some stuff. Although I do like this one. Let's see. So 215k. If you have 2 or more other Guilty Gear, this gets 5k power and assault. That's interesting. That's just, you're just constantly a 10k 2 soul? Just by having 2 other characters on the field, that's actually kind of busted for stats. Like, even as a 1-drop, that's kind of nuts. Okay, hold up. Because I see this gets more power. Up to 1 time per turn when damage dealt by this is canceled if you have a shot trigger. Bringing back shot triggers, hell yes. If this is in your comics area and you have 2 or more other Guilty Gear characters, salvage back a Guilty Gear, and then choose 1 Guilty Gear in your waiting room, put it into stock. And then this gains 4k power until the end of your opponent's next turn? Hey, yo, this is just sitting at 14k for no damn reason? Okay, well, okay, it's on a shot trigger. One, I know people don't really run shot triggers as much. But, like, that, okay. Like, obviously, choice seems to be the best thing to use for, like, any of the yellow triggers at this point. But that, okay, that's actually really fucking cool. I did not know, like, this is just so much value. I'm sorry. Well, okay. I said if damage dealt by it is canceled. So let's look at this objectively. You're going to have 2 soul with, when you play the shot trigger, that's plus 1k and a soul. You're going to be poking for 3 with level 2s that you can very easily play multiples of. And if it gets canceled, it's almost like the UA level 1 where you just get so much insane value. And then it's just sitting around at like a 14k until the end of the next turn. I mean, it's already a 10k 2 soul. What more do you... It's the stats of a base level 3 for 1 stock? I'm sorry, I don't mean to dwell on this long when I'm wanting to try to speed through as much as possible, but this is kind of busted on a rare. Okay, this is going to get run a lot. Gold Lewis is going to get run a lot. Okay, let's go on. Okay, so we don't have the TBA, but we have the SP for Chip. Hey, that's nice. Can't play backup. Okay, let's see. Oh, this is cool. On attack, if the character facing it is 3 or higher, this gets 6k power and 2 soul. Holy shit, okay. Oh, and you do get to summon multiple copies of itself. Interesting. Okay. Leo. Let's see. Oh, it lets you summon a Kai, which I think he's blue. And he buffs up those Kais too. Okay, interesting. Also, I'm also just kind of like letting y'all see the art as well. 3-2-11, Nagori Yuki as well. Okay, so it's just a little bit oversized, and the downside is just that all of your characters can't side, which is fine. Heal on play, and it's an early play, so I mean, that's still gonna probably get used. 002k. Oh, I love these kinds of effects, actually. This card gets 2,500 power for each Guilty Gear character in your level. So, level 1, he's a 45. Level 2, he's a 7k. And level 3, he's a 9.5. His soul doesn't go up, that's the only thing. But so he can actually, like, get bigger over time. And also on play, you can purposely put a stock into play off of him. Very interesting. Okay. Overworked King. Oh, it's a clean cut. Okay, interesting. Very nice. So sorry, I just looked over at the SR. Like, the fuck is this? Okay, I'm going to also say this now. I've only ever watched some people play Guilty Gear Strive. I've never played it, so I don't know the lore or anything. Pitch a climax and sack another character. Oh, okay. It lets you. It's a climax swapper, but instead of having to pay stock, you sack another character. Because it does say other characters, so you can't sack himself. Interesting. More of Gold Lewis. I've seen more of this guy already than like May. Holy shit. Okay. Okay, so we are getting into some cards we don't have. We have an anti-change May. When you use this card's backup, if you have four or more Guilty Gear characters. Okay, it doesn't say other. You just have to have 4 or more, meaning as long as even if you have one space that's not occupied, you're still good. Choose a character level higher than your opponent's level, put into their waiting room, just by paying 2 stock, which is not bad. So it ends up being like a 3 stock cost. So chip. Okay, so this is one of those interesting cards. Rest this card. If your memory has 1 or less card, choose a Guilty Gear character in your waiting room and put it into your memory. So you can just constantly use this, and it's a global 500, to feed that like effect of being able to toss characters into your memory. So it at most off this effect, because it says 1 or less cards, meaning the most you can get off this effect is 2 Guilty Gear characters into your memory. So this is probably going to be a staple in terms of that. So a common for that is going to feel like a fucking uncommon. Oh, we have a pay 1 tap 2 brainstorm. I haven't seen that in a minute. It's a mill 4 and search. When a character is placed on stage from the waiting room, you can up to 3 times per turn. You can give that character 1K. So we'll see if that's a recurring effect. Leo, stance cancel. Let's see. 1015. During your turn, this gets 55, which would make him a 7. That is really fucking big for a costless level 1, but it is so weak defensively. Oh, okay. So it actually swaps out with another Leo, Brynhildr stance. Maybe that's going to be the next card, or was that one of the other ones we already saw? I'm so sorry. I saw another Leo. That was Overworked King. Okay, so that's not that one. So, okay. So it's a different Leo we may not have seen just yet, but it swaps out with that one. So the level 1 change mechanic stuff, haven't seen that in a hot minute. So, all right. May and April. When this becomes reversed in battle or at the end of this card's attack, if your memory has 1 or less card, 1 or less card. So we already have, and I think I saw this on another one already, which was this one. If your memory has 1 or less card, I think that's supposed to have an S. So already quality control. Good job, Bucci. Whatever. You can put this card into your memory, so more cards that you can. Also, it has hexproof as a level 1. Interesting. Okay, but it also has during your turn, this is 1,000 for each of your other Guilty Gear characters. This has become a 1075, and then just sloop out to memory for like no reason. Can't be hexed, like can't be targeted. That's just wonky. Okay, to be fair, this could bounce out to memory, and then you, as long as this is the only one that does, and you still have like the 4 on the field, you can still use. Oh, that's a good point. Because you could side as well. Anyway, you even as long as you still have 4 other characters, you can still use the anti-change. So that's cool. What is going on in this one? Oh, this is the Brynhildr stance one. Okay, and the other one gave this 25 per turn. Okay, so this makes sense for the other one that is the Brainstormer that gave power and everything. So, all right. Oh, excuse me for yawning. Oh. Got more gold Lewis 1065. You specifically, because it's oversized, you specifically give one of your opponent's characters a big buff. That's whatever. Okay. Hey, it lets you do the top check stuff. That's interesting. Now go to Yuki with a level assist, and it gives a character some removal. Okay. Let's see. Rude Awakening. So event, a 1/1 event. Choose one face-up card in your level, return it to your hand, put this card into your level. Okay, choose one of your Guilty Gear characters and it gets 3k power to end of turn. If this card is in your level when your character attacks, if your level is 3 or higher, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your characters in battle and stand it. Okay, because I've seen, I know like Vanguard has some kind of mechanic, and I don't remember the exact like thing for it, but it puts like the damage or whatever ends up going like going from face up to face down or some shit. But pay 4, pitch 2, and put this card from face up to face down. Interesting. It's a hefty cost, but just the fact that it's just a resource just kind of sitting there in your level that can be used whenever. Kind of interesting, kind of wonky, but also kind of interesting. Okay, I'm down. I'm down to clown. We get like the Mill Brainstorm. Okay, cool. We do have Choice Trigger. We have see some. I think Soul. It might not be Soul. It might be someone else. I can't tell from this. Anyway. Oh, that's okay. I like the Jellyfish Pirates. That's cool. Down with the system. This is the shot trigger I was talking about. That gold Lewis is going to be very interesting there. All right, we're getting to the greens. All right, so the double rares for this one is Ramlethal, Brigadier of Illyria is a 001k. If I butcher any of these names, I apologize. I've been drinking some sake tonight. When your climax is placed on your climax area, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 1,000 power till end of turn. If your memory has one or less card, once again, I don't understand why it was like so difficult to say one or less cards. I don't understand why the choice was not to put an S for these effects. I don't know, whatever. You may choose one copy of this or a level 1 Lucifero Ramlethal's Familiar in your waiting room and put it into your memory. Okay, so it specifically lets you set up for that effect. Once again, it seems to be that's going to be like a payment thing. So it's going to be like, oh, we're gonna toss these in here, like immediately use that payment and then toss more. Okay. Brainstorm, otherwise it's a pay 1 tap self, mill 4 for each climax you get to salvage back a character. So this is probably going to get used a lot considering it'll set up for those cost effects. So that'll be cool. Also just really nice like full art there with the overframe rare. Milia, Master Assassin is another double rare. It's a 002k. During your turn, if all of your characters are Guilty Gear, this gets 2k power, so it'll be a 4k. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, if there's a character facing this card, you may move this card to an open position over your center stage. Yay, bringing back free runners. Cool. So, and then we have Giovanna, Special Operations Unit Officer. That looks so cool. I know I've seen Giovanna before. I've seen some cultured art. Anyway, 1035. During your turn, if there's a card in your memory, doesn't matter what kind, just if there's a card, this card gets plus 3k power. If your memory has 2 or more cards, hey look, someone put an S, finally, sorry. This gets 500 power in the following ability. When this card attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is level 1 or higher, put it into your stock. Some free stock production, very nice. But see, this isn't even using it for like this, the cost effect, like having the memory in there, just being able to get those in there for the effects, and then just get back free stock basically that you know is clean. Very nice. Also, this stuff like this will encourage people to run fewer level 0s because you need level 1 or higher for that. So fun fact. Potemkin, shout outs to Drac. Proud Soldier of Zep is a 1/175. All of your characters get the following ability. Okay, well this is a rare now, but it's whatever. I'll say it since we're here. This card cannot side. All your characters make it so they can't side attack. And on play, if you have 4 or more other Guilty Gear characters, you can put the top card of your deck into your stock, so it pays for itself. But that's cool. Also, just like I said, just really cool SP there. Giovanna, let's see. All right, so now we're in the rares and everything. I'm going to kind of blitz through this. Let's say, so during your turn, the Giovanna cards get big. Also, like the difference between the SR and the regular is like an outstretched hand and bigger chompy on the puppy. Let's see. Oh, it's one of those, your opponent chooses a climax in their waiting room, return all cards from their waiting room except that card into the deck. The decompression effect. So this would be very nice. This rare might get used, who knows. Zato 1. Okay. Oh, he can summon more copies of himself. Let's see. Oh, okay, so he's kind of doing some of the switching around shenanigans that Persona 5 did for this one. Which I think that's something that happens in some fighting games where you can like swap around, like your characters can come in and support the others. So that kind of makes sense for the fighting games. I know it's not like every single one of them. I think I remember seeing it on like Marvel vs. Capcom or something. I could be wrong. I remember seeing Marvel vs. Capcom a whole bunch back in the day when we go play DDR and ITG at the arcade. 3/2 Milia Winger. Oh, okay, so if that Master Assassin we saw earlier is in the clock, this gets minus a level in hand. So early play potential, okay. The gold bar, let's see. Oh, so it's just like removal, okay. Oh no, so you do get to choose up to, on attack, choose a character in the waiting room, return it to your hand. And this gets 1,000 power and the removal effect. Basically, if the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can put that character on top of the opponent's deck. Okay, so you do get like a decent bit of advantage from this. Like, you get to salvage stuff, it gets bigger, and then you get removal on top of that. It's kind of nice, and it's on a gold bar. So, let's see. Lethal Valentine. This level 3 looks fucking cool. Like, this looks so badass. Let's see. When the gold bar is played, let's see, put a Guilty Gear character from your memory into your waiting room. If you do, this card gets 3k power till end of turn and perform. Okay, so its perform is correct on the card, but anyway. The following action 2 times, and you get to basically grab a specific level 1 Lucifero, either from the deck or waiting room, and put it on any position of your stage. So you just get to summon like 2 other things for free. Okay, interesting. Okay, so I'm very curious to see what the Ramlethal's familiar thing is. All right, so Lucifero is 38, so we're almost there. Oh, okay, so yeah, the puppy like possesses her or some shit. Okay, cool. Reading. This card's put into your waiting room from the stage. Oh, okay, so you get to put stuff into memory. Okay. Milia, let's see. An act to pitch a card and sack itself. This first effect is interesting. On play, you can choose a card in your clock, return it to your hand. If you do choose one card in your hand, put it into your clock. Okay, so this is very interesting because typically the clock swap stuff is off of like Brainstormers, or you have to pay like another cost, but it's just letting you freely swap to a card in your clock with a card in your hand. So this is actually kind of cool. This is probably going to get used more. But then it also has a pitch a card, sack itself to salvage back any Guilty Gear from waiting. Okay, cool. Zato 1. This dude is really wonky. In terms of fighting games, I need to play more. Alright, so Ramlethal's familiar. This also has a climax combo. Hold on, what is this? Is the Calvados the same one as the level 3? Overdrive Calvados. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna check this real quick to see. Because this is a very interesting... It is, okay. So you get to play this and summon 2 of the familiars. So like, this is a level 1 with a climax combo off this. Oh, excuse me. Oh. So 1035 at the beginning of your attack phase, if there's a climax in your climax area, this gets 2500 power and +1 soul until end of turn. So with a gold bar and the buff, she's going to be going from 35 to 6k to a 7k. Okay. And then on attack, if you have the gold bar in play and you have the 3/2 Ram Lethal, if this is in the middle position of your center stage, you can pay 2, pitch 1 to burn your opponent for 3. Oh, and this gets 6,000 power till end of turn. Okay, so what was the number I just said? Like, plus 25 is 6k, 7k off of the gold bar, plus 6. So 13k, 3 soul apiece from its own buff and the gold bar. And then you're also able to pay and you're paying a cost to burn for 3. That's interesting because that's like a lot of damage coming through. Because like you can also have the Ram Lethal like attack first, build up your stock and everything, and then so you would need 2 stock to pay for the Ram Lethal because it doesn't pay any stock for it to summon these 2. And then you just need to build up. You just can go in with like 4 stock and pull off this. With okay, that's actually so you'd have 4 stock. You'd pay 2 to summon the Ram Lethal. You would summon the 2 off of her effect and everything. You would attack with the. You would have 2 left. You would attack with the first Ram Lethal. You'd have 3. You'd attack with one of these Luciferos. I also just noticed the different art on those. It's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. You pay 2 of the stock. You're down to 1. You burn 3. Then her damage. Then you'd have 2. So as long as yeah. So then you'd be able to do the second one. So as long as you go in with 4 stock, you can pull off this combo for like 5 packets of 3 damage because you're gonna be like poke for 3, burn 3, poke for 3, burn 3, poke for 3. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's actually kind of crazy. All right, so moving on, we have Potemkin. Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember hearing something about this one. So 328k gets 1,000 for each of your other guilty gears. So if you have 4, it's a 12k. Oh, this is a fucking bunch of text. Battle opponent becomes reversed. You can pay 3, pitch 1, sack the gold bar. Choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's waiting room, put them on top of their deck in any order, and deal 4 damage to your opponent. Okay, so you can almost guarantee that 4 damage is going to stick. It just depends on that 4th card. Okay, that's interesting. I actually really like the Potemkin here. That's actually really cool. Zato 1, let's see. In your main phase, you can choose a bottom card of your clock and you go to... Okay. You get to do some color fixing, I guess. And it specifically buffs the 3/2 Milia from earlier. Oversized Potemkin, your characters get opponent's characters get reduced encore. Milia again. Like I said, we're not gonna have all of the particular. Are they brother sister? I don't know. The hair makes me think brother sister. But like I said, I'm probably wrong. I don't play this game. I'm sorry. And by this game, Weiss. I'm just kidding. Obviously, I play Weiss. The 2/1 Ram Lethal. Oh, okay. So 15 in front, and you can pay a cost to heal. Interesting. Overwhelming power. Oh, they buff other copies of themselves. Okay. All right, we're down to the events. Shocking revelation. Oh, this is so. Are all the crazy events all have the same kind of effect, where it puts itself into the level and then you get to do stuff? If this card is in your level when your opponent's character attacks, you can pay the cost, which is 4 stock, discarding a card and put this card from face up to face down. If you do, choose one of your opponent's characters that gets -3 soul till end of turn and draw up to 1 card. If you draw a card, choose a card in your hand and put it into your waiting room. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So I'm guessing that's just going to be a recurring theme for a lot of the events, maybe? We have gold bar, and that is the only climaxes in all of green. They're all gold bar. Interesting. So we know what I was about to say stock soul, and that's not right. I'm sorry. We know what Lunchbox is going to play. Anyway. All right, so we have time traveling musician. We're getting to the reds now. The 001K. When this is placed on stage from your hand, look at the 2 cards from the top of your deck. Put them on top of your deck in any order. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay the cost, which is pay 1, deal yourself damage from the top of the deck. If you do, search your deck for a level 1 or lower character. Okay, so just typical, put it in your hand. And, okay, just as long as it's correct on the card, that's all that matters. Interesting. Okay, I actually thought this was kind of cool. The flavor, the little quote from them changes depending on regular version or SP. Because this one says, I will create the future, and the other says, now let existence begin. Interesting how that's different. Okay. The same for this one as well. Interesting. Also, I know Baiken specifically because of Epic 7 way back in the day, when they did a Guilty Gear collab. That's the only reason I know Baiken at all. So a 2/2/6K with 2 soul. If all of your characters are Guilty Gear, this gets 3,500 power and character encore. So it should be a 95. At the beginning of your attack phase, you can sack the standby to stand this card. Okay, so yeah, it lets you basically do the same thing of kind of like the Nino from Quints and everything. Act. Put this card at the bottom of your deck. Choose 1 character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. Choose one of your characters, and that character gets 2k power till end of turn. Interesting. So it can sack itself for like buffs and just salvaging back stuff, which makes more sense with like a standby deck, because you could like summon it in the back, and if you need to use it, like if you like a trigger or something, and if you're like, oh hey, it's easier for me to just sack this to get something back, or I can attack with it, having that versatility is very nice. Okay, so definitely like that. And we got soul bad guy. So 3/2, 10k 2 souls, soul savior of the world. When this card is placed on stage from hand, if you have another Guilty Gear character, you can heal 1 card. You can heal the top card of your clock to your waiting room. On attack, if 0% possible, which is a door, is in your climax area and you have 2 or more other Guilty Gears, pay 1, pitch 1, burn 4. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this for 1 second. That is Last Shot Xenon, and a cheaper cost Last Shot Xenon. Y'all realize that, right? Like, Xenon's typically like pay 2, pitch 1. Even Gura is like pay 2, pitch 1 for all that she does. This is a pay 1, pitch 1, burn 4. That's actually kind of crazy. The fact that this is and it's on a 1k1. Yes, I realize there's a difference in, oh well, gold bar is going to be, not gold bar, I'm sorry. Last Shot Xenon was a pants. Oh, not a pants, fucking shit. It was a book. It was a book trigger. Yeah. So I mean, it's basically in my mind on the same playing field as a salvage trigger. So that's actually kind of crazy. Anyway, when this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, you can pay 2, pitch 1 to put the top card of your opponent's deck into their clock. Oh. Hey yo, what? Kind of damn. Oh, okay, sorry. I was stuck on the Last Shot Xenon effect. Okay, so the real damage is just cool. If I reverse you, I'm not even worried about getting your character into the clock, which is very, I know a lot of clock shoot effects bypass like hexproof, but he just doesn't care. He's like, you're taking damage from the top of your deck. Because then if that's a climax, it doesn't matter. It's not going to get canceled off of that. That's crazy. Okay, so, all right, Soul, I'm loving this so far, and the overframe rare looks sweet as hell. All right, so that's it for the double rares. Let's see, Anji, it's a spammable brainstormer to look it up to 3. Okay. And an act to rest this to give character a buff. Okay, cool. Baiken, let's see. Okay, so on play, you get to pitch a Guilty Gear to do some top checking. We have basically a standby target. Becomes a 7/5 with character encore. Okay. Jacko! We're going to be having people doing the Jacko pose at the regionals. It's a 2k assist to level 3 or higher. Oh, and it does some more of the memory shenanigans as well as giving characters power. So, very nice. We got Axel Time Manipulator. On attack, it gets a buff times the number of other Guilty Gear characters times 15. So a full field gives him a 6k, so he'll be a 12/5. Interesting. This card gets 500 power on the following ability until end of turn. Okay, so just removal. Got you. 3/2, 10k 500. I know crushing power. Excuse me. Oh, it lets you grab its climax combo. That's always good. And you get to either decompress your opponent or on attack pay 2, or basically pay 2 to burn 2. Okay, cool. So it grabs its climax combo and you have several options as to what it can possibly do. That's actually kind of crazy. Okay. Jacko. Do the Jacko pose. Do. Alright, cool. Does some adding to hands shit. When your character's trigger check reveals a card with a crit trigger, choose one of your Guilty Gear characters and it gains 1500 power till end of turn. Which, if Soul's doing a lot of these standby stuff, the standby cards are going to have the crit trigger icon. Oh no, I just saw this. All of your characters in front of this card get hexproof, basically. They can't be chosen by your opponent's effects. Well, there goes the neighborhood. Okay, well, we can't, we can't ban Shuna, so we're just gonna print more. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so, well, yeah, be prepared to see this card a whole fuck ton. Great. Okay, granted, this is gonna be, there are other removal effects that could get rid of this. Just be prepared to run your cards that attack back row. Okay. Axel, Unfair Way of Life. It's a level 1 reverser. And an anti-runner. Okay. I said we don't have all the cards, but it's all good. Anji, Charismatic Dance. When the damage you receive is canceled, you can bounce it back to hand, and he gets a buff. Okay, cool. Megalomania. I almost read that as Megalovania. As an act of 4 stock, pitch a card, and put a Guilty Gear from memory into your waiting room. Return all of your opponent's level 3 or lower characters in their center stage to their hand. Just like get them off the field. Okay, that's actually kind of funny. Interesting. And that's an act ability. So if you really wanted, you could do that first, bounce everything, and then proceed to like summon other shit. So that's funny. I want to see this get dropped on someone in like fucking Worlds or some shit, and it just ruins their day. I don't know. That just seems funny to me. Oh, so Jacko is also going to be working with standby. On attack, on attack, pay. If you do not have another Guilty Gear, this cannot stand during your stand phase. And then when this card attack. Hold on. When this card, okay, it does say attacks. 2 or more of the Guilty Gear, you can pitch a card and sack the standby. Search your deck for up to 2 Guilty Gear characters and add them to your hand. Okay, that's interesting because this is only a 50. Oh, it's a level 1. I was like, I don't know why my brain was like, oh, this is a level 2 for some reason. Okay, no, so actually this could be interesting as a fucking level 1 doing this. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Get some more Jacko. Right to Save the World. An act of pitch a card, rest this. to summon any level 0 or lower character in your waiting room to any position of your stage. Which is very interesting considering yellow had the ones that like go to memory and shit. Or no, that was a level 1. I'm sorry, that's not a level 0. But you can grab like the soul that gives shit like hex proof and stuff. Okay, kind of funky. I'm sure there's other level 0s you could grab. I know, finally recalling lets you grab Megalomania, put it into memory, stuff like that. Okay, cool. Axel, disaster relief. He's saving people from Katrina. Anyway. Okay, it's just like digging. Okay. Beginning of your opponent's attack phase, pay 1, put the top card of your deck into your clock, and return this to your hand. Okay, so it's just a really weird way of being able to save himself and another character. But it's at the beginning of attack phase. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, okay, so this is a pay 1. This is a drop bouncer. On play, pay 1, pitch 1, bounce of your opponent's characters back to their hand. That could be interesting. Something like this could be very interesting. Baiken, Campfire Conversation. She get big, and she's a level 2 Slayer. Okay, so she becomes a 106k during your turn, and then if she attacks a level 2, she becomes a 12k. Okay, cool. Very nice. We have a 3k backup that's a memory kick. Alright, so we have another event. It's a 2-2 backup event. You don't have a Guilty Gear character. Can't be played from hand. You choose 2 Guilty Gear characters and they can't become reversed, which is very interesting. That's actually kind of cool. So, Jacko's whole thing is very interesting. Resolve of Steel is standby. Door, standby, door. Okay. And we're into blue, so we're almost done. Oh, well, we do have the trial deck as well. So we have Kai, Sword of Justice is a 1045. You have 2 or more other Guilty Gear characters against 1,000, so it'll be a 55. I was about to say 45 again. When this card attacks, if the pants trigger is in your climax area, you have 2 or more other Guilty Gear characters, choose one of the following effects and perform it. Either look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck and choose up to 1 Guilty Gear character amongst them. Like I said, I've been drinking. Reveal it to your opponent, put it into your hand, and put the rest into your waiting room. Drink responsibly, kids. So you either get to top check 4 and then add a Guilty Gear, or choose 1 level 2 or higher Guilty Gear character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. Very interesting for the options there, because depending if you don't have a waiting room just yet, you can you could just start milling and setting up stuff. But then it's like, oh, cool, I'm about to refresh anyway. Instead, I'll do the salvage effect, which is so very nice. So Kai is going to be very interesting. This might be one of the more played cards, especially being a pants trigger. Faust. I do know about Faust. So 329k. Early play if you have 4 or more Guilty Gear characters, and it heals from clock to stock. And he gets big. He becomes an 11k during your turn. Very nice. Happy Chaos. Okay, that's just every base damage video. Happy Chaos. When your climax is placed in your climax area, you can bounce this back to hand. If you do choose one of your characters, it gets 2k power. And it can save itself by paying a stock to bounce back. We have a Faust climax combo off of a pants, which they didn't even put the text here for the Faust. Maybe it was just recently added or something. When you play a pants trigger, look at the top card of your deck, choose it to one. If it's choose up to 1 Guilty Gear character, reveal it to your opponent, add it to your hand. When your climax is placed in your climax area, choose one of your characters, and that character gets 2k power till end of turn. Interesting. So some buffing and some trying to dig and add cards to hand. Testament. This is one of those characters I saw a long while back and thought it was a girl at first. I was like, oh, it's not. Okay, it's all good. There's an act ability to pay a cost to burn your opponent once. Burn 1 2 times. The cost is 2 stock. Discard 2 cards, rest this card, and put a Guilty Gear character from memory into waiting room. That is hefty. Interesting. Kai, Mighty King. An oversized, but it's a restander. When the battle opponent becomes reversed, pay 4, pitch 2, restand. Also, it lets you summon another character with a level equal or lower than your level. And he gets and this card gets a buff, so he can buff himself for that. The cool thing is none of that's like climax combo related, so that's cool. High Blood of Juno. 4 cards on top of the deck. Okay, cool. Oh, and it gets big. It becomes like a level 1 3K during your opponent's turn. Very nice. Oh, excuse me. It's late at night. Please forgive me. Okay, so Drop Searcher for Guilty Gear. So very nice. It had that in the uncommons. Lost Bone Crushing Excitement. Okay. This is a wall of text. Give me a second. I'm just going to read it out. It's a 500 assist in front and an act of put a Guilty Gear from memory to waiting room, rest this. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's climax, choose a card in your opponent's waiting room, put it on top of their deck. If that card's level 0 or lower, all of your characters get 1,000 power tone turn. If it's just a different effect depending on what the card is. But at least that means you basically never whiff. If it's a climax, it does something. If it's an event, it does something. It just depends on the level. Level 1, choose a character, gets 4K. Level 2, put the top card of your deck into your clock. And if that card is level 3 or higher, put the bottom card of your deck into your stock. Interesting. So the only downside if it's level 2 for some reason, why does Faust hate level 2? Okay. Unhappy Chaos, Trigger Happy. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Okay, when this is placed on stage from your hand, you can pay to put a Guilty Gear from memory into your waiting room. Choose one cost 1 or lower character in your opponent's backstage and put it into their waiting room. That gets rid of the Shuna. Now they can encore the Shuna back from Slime specifically. With the Muron setup, it gives everything else except itself. The level 2 Shuna gives everything else except itself hexproof, basically, as long as you have another specific Muron on the field. That Muron has hexproof, whereas this could get rid of the Shuna, but your opponent can encore it back. Just saying, that is an option. So, but that's cool. You know, we get a little bit more removal, like from this set. That's very nice. We got a 2/1 Happy Chaos. It can be played from your hand without fulfilling color requirements. Interesting. Placed on stage from your hand, you can pitch a card, search your deck for a Asuka Gear Maker. It has an act. To summon one of the Inos. Okay, cool. Oh, this is interesting. Righteous Ruler, Global 500, and when you reveal a Pants trigger, you can pay a cost. Look up to 2 cards on top of the deck, choose it for 1 card amongst them. Okay, cool. Lost Creepy Eyes. I've heard of Purple Eyes. Anyway. It gives a character negative 500 in Afro? It gives it the Afro trait? That's funny as hell. Okay. Anyway. Okay, so this is also an anti-change reverser. So Happy Chaos's whole thing is just removal. Like, it doesn't like back row. It doesn't like early play. It is just like the anti-everything. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. It has some salvaging effects. 3/0 Dragon Install. Here's a character with Kai, gains 3K. And the following ability, when the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can deal 1 damage to your opponent. Interesting. Here is the Override Lightning, G-Canceller Field. We have some promos before we get to the trial deck. Let's see. Okay, so it just builds up markers and everything, and then it still gets bigger. Interesting. Oh, this is cool. It's basically kind of a Taige clone. Oh. Oh, it dies. This is interesting. This gets 500 power for each climax in your waiting room, but when this gets frontal attacked, you sack it. Okay. So if you had all 8, that would be 4K. It would be a 109K. Okay, but it dies if it gets frontaled, so it's kind of whatever. Ooh. Oh, this is gonna be an expensive promo if we get this. Oh, well, this is all English, so yeah, never mind, we're getting this. It's a 3295. If you have 2 or more other Guilty Gear characters, this gets 1500 power, and during this card's battle, you cannot receive damage by the auto effects of your opponent's characters. Very nice. So, just very nice to have that. So, I say it might have more of a price tag because of that. I'm just skimming because we need to get through stuff. This should be a shop PR, a level 3 early play shop promo. Alright, and it digs. Interesting. Okay, cool. Alright, so now we're into the trial deck, so we're going to plow through these. Typical pay 1, rest self, brainstormer, mill 5 for each draw a card. When you use an act, choose a character, gets 500 power. Nice. Soul, left behind. Choose a Guilty Gear character, waiting room. There's a drop salvager and then give another Guilty Gear 1,000. And he gets big if you have 5 or more cards. So really good starter and everything too. A global 500 to Guilty Gear and a rest this to give 1 Guilty Gear 500 power till the end of your opponent's next turn. Okay. The level 1 Soul Bounty Hunter. Okay, so I can't, like I said, this is just the SP, so the regular art is probably like similar. They've just been kind of zooming out for a lot of the effects, or for a lot of the special effects for the SPs and the overframe rares. So it probably won't have anything much different. I could be wrong. It's a 104K for each card in your backstage. It gets 1,000 for each Guilty Gear character. It gets 1,000. So it's a 106K. When this card's battle opponent becomes reversed, if Overdrive Dragon Install, which it says is a door climax, is in your climax area, and you have 2 or more other Guilty Gear, you can pitch 1 card, search your deck for up to 2 Guilty Gear characters, reveal them to your opponent, put them to your hand, and shuffle your deck. Okay, remember how I said earlier we have a much lower cost Last Shot Xenon? This is a lower cost Zek and Yuki. You do have to reverse where Zek and Yuki didn't have to reverse. And honestly, like, you kind of have to be careful with a lot of on reverse effects, but it's in a trial deck. I'm willing to give it a pass since it's in the trial deck. But this is still very cool. Like, I'm glad to see stuff like this. Vanilla 7K. Axel gets 3K power for each other Guilty Gear character in your backstage, so it'll be at 11K with character encore. Or yeah. Oh wow. Okay, this looks badass because this is completely different art. Let's see, 2-0 Birthday Memories is an event from the trial deck as well. It says, when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a card. If you do, choose 1 climax in your waiting room, return it to your hand, and this gains 1K power till end of turn. So it just lets you pitch a card to add back any climax, so just any that you need. So this could be, as long as you have red in any deck, this is good to put in. Well, okay, I say that, but you do have to have a specific Birthday Memories. Oh no, so you can pay either. When this attacks, you can pay 2, pitch 2 Guilty Gear characters from hand, and put either a Guilty Gear character or a 2-0 specific event from your memory into your waiting room. So the same whole like memory cost thing as before. And if you do, deal 5 damage to your opponent. Very interesting there. And I am loving this art. Like, that is awesome. I wish more of the overframe rares did stuff like that in the set. But coming out of the trial deck for this is going to be one to hunt for. That looks awesome. Anyway, sorry, carrying on. So this is Birthday Memories. Your memory has 1 or less cards. Put this in your memory. Choose one of your characters with soul, specifically soul. And he gets 2,500 power plus 1 soul. And the ability, when the battle opponent becomes reversed, you can salvage back a guilty gear. Okay. Drag and drive install to salvage. We got blue. More happy chaos. Gives a crazy amount of buffs to a specific Ino. Free 2k backup. Okay. Kai, greatest rival. And that looks like this is going to be the last card from the trial deck that we know of, but also the art for this looks baller. It's a 3/2 10k, heal on play. When this attacks, if Kingly Smile, which is the pants trigger right here, is in your climax area, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, choose up to 1 card from amongst them, put it on the bottom of their deck, put the rest on top of their deck in any order, and this gains 3k power until end of turn. So being able to choose what cards gets hit. Good. Interesting. So we don't get to see everything from the trial deck just yet, but we get to see some very interesting cards. And the card art looks amazing. The thing is, this is overframe rare. So is it not going to have SP in the trial deck at all? Is it just going to be like the chances of overframe rares? Which is very interesting. I really like this one. This looks so good. We're going to end on this one. But yeah, no, like, so first impressions of this is Guilty Gear is looking pretty dank. And we don't even have all the cards just yet. I just kind of wanted to go over what ones we currently have. Like I said, by the time this comes out, there may be more that's already revealed. But I'm recording this before Thanksgiving, so just stating that. Yeah, no, just really cool. I am very eager to see how well this does. I hope that this set makes waves in the meta, in the community, and I really hope that the rest of the cards that we haven't seen, even though we've seen a majority of the booster set already, whatever isn't revealed, I hope is still like just as powerful. So with that, we're going to be signing off. Thank y'all very much for watching. It is greatly appreciated, and thank you for putting up with my slightly inebriated self. And it is really awesome. Happy holidays, and we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.